All right, and welcome to episode 528 of the Grit2Greatness Endurance podcast. We're your hosts, coaches Rich.soares, April.spilde, and Lauren.brown, and we are on a mission to help endurance athletes train smarter, race stronger, and build the grit it takes to achieve greatness. Coach April, are you ready to get gritty?
You know I'm always ready to get gritty. I'm wearing my gritty green tonight, and I cannot wait for this conversation.
Yeah. Coach Lauren, are you ready to get inspired?
Oh, I am so ready. I cannot wait for this conversation and to just dive into it. So
Awesome. This is another one of those podcasts where I am not in the usual studio. I am actually at another race, and we have another great inspirational pair of interviews here. Today's episode is one that goes straight to the heart of grit. You know what grit stands for. We are coming to you from the Valley of the Sun bicycle stage race here in Phoenix, Arizona, where the paracycling fields are packed with athletes who embody what it takes to rise after life-changing adversity. We are honored to welcome two remarkable veterans and paracyclists who have turned injury, setbacks, and transition into fuel for performance and purpose. I am really proud to be here next to both of these gentlemen. I want to first introduce Mike Murphy, who is an athlete that we started working together just about 2 months ago?
Yep, first week in January.
Yeah, it's been great. So maybe just introduce yourself and maybe like one fun fact about yourself.
Mike Murphy, retired Army, visually impaired athlete. Fun fact. I guess I love the slogan grittiness, grit to greatness. So I think my favorite thing since losing injury is I became yes man. So I've been blessed to compete in multiple sports from whitewater kayaking, tandem cycling, all the way to snowboarding. So that's I'm a man of adventure. So
Yeah, you are. Greg.
Good evening. I'm Greg Quarles, retired U.S. Army Ranger. I not only served in the American Army, but I served in the Australian Special Forces as well.
And an amazing story at that. We are going to get into all of that here very shortly. Really quick, we've got a couple of announcements that we're going to make. Coach April, can I hand it off to you to talk about TriDot Pool School?
Absolutely. We're going to jump right into our upcoming TriDot Pool School here in Colorado Springs at the Air Force Academy, February 28th through March 1st. It is a weekend workshop. We're going to help you get fast in the water. So whether you're a beginner struggling to feel comfortable in open water or an experienced athlete chasing podium spots, improving your swim technique can unlock massive benefits, such as greater confidence, efficiency, and speed. We'll explore what good mechanics look like, why they matter, and how programs like TriDot Pool School can accelerate your progress. We also have an awesome code here to get $125 off of your purchase. That is Rocky Mountain Rate, all one word. We would love to see you on deck.
So Velocity is live now as of February 7th, where you can join myself, Coach Rich, Coach April, the coaches that you have learned to love on this podcast. So if you enjoy us here, wait until you experience us on Velocity. You can, if you haven't heard us talk about Rich and it's not easy feeling green, jump on his ride, understand what we're talking about. Coach April will be dialing in with mountain bike skills, and I will be focusing a little bit more on triathlon focus, getting aero on the bike. It is an amazing experience. If you are ready to try it out, grab a free 2-week trial. It is just $79 per month to join us and dial in your training, your racing, your road cycling. Grit to Greatness premium athletes and our ambassadors do get a 25% discount. And like I said, you're going to develop shifting, cadence, smoother pedal strokes, power control. We've got 3 live classes per week. You're also going to be able to catch replays, but you will be able to join Coach Rich on Saturdays at 8 a.m. Mountain Time for 90-minute threshold and hold. Coach April on Tuesdays at 6 a.m. Mountain Time. It's going to, again, be mountain bike focused. This week it is Dirt Flirt, and you can join me on Wednesdays at 6 a.m., which is going to be, again, a threshold focused ride. So check the link in the show notes so you can, again, grab your 2-week trial and join the fun with us on Velocity.
April, the Dirt Flirt, really? The marketing that you have on your rides is so much better than my threshold and hold hill hell,
I know.
Nobody wants to do those.
Devil emoji too.
Yeah, I did put a devil emoji on there too.
That little
Love
emoji adds like that little extra level.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I do take pride in my names here.
Yes. And you know what? When you do my threshold workouts, it's actually very easy feeling green, as in maybe we're going to work so hard to get sick to your stomach. It is hard being green. It's hard getting into the green. And that's going to be what you are going to find out more about when you join my class. Speaking of cycling, speaking of how fun this sport is and how fun racing is and why we are trying to get faster. We're here at the Valley of the Sun Bicycle Stage Race. It's an early season 3-day USA cycling event here in the Phoenix area. We are having day one is a time trial. It happened today. We're going to talk about that. We've also got a road race tomorrow, about 33 miles, 34 or something like that. What is it exactly?
32.76 or something.
See, there you go. Exactly. And then we have a crit race on Sunday, which, man, that's going to be a first
tandem, blind tandem too. So
that's going to be an incredible experience. I've done some crit racing, but never on a tandem. But
and not only are we the first, but you're also it's your first time doing it, and it's the race's first time hosting a tandem. So
it's going to be this is an adventure, right? We are learning and we are adapting even this weekend. The paracycling division is the same weekend, and we actually are going to be talking about the kind of the different kinds of paracycling divisions there are within that division, classifications that are within that division, and I might even ask Greg if you might talk a little bit about your experience this morning or yesterday rather with the classification. So. All right, so let's do this. Let's first talk to Mike Murphy, a visually impaired athlete, as you heard, who races on a tandem with a sighted pilot. That's me today.
Yes, sir.
Maybe just, Mike, let me just say a little bit about your journey here. After your service led you to adaptive sport, you needed a new sense of direction is kind of what I got out of our earlier conversation. Maybe talk about kind of what that transition was like for you.
Yeah, so upon injury, I had a head injury during my time in service. We were deployed, but it wasn't combat related. Ended up sparking an eye disease that caused me to lose the majority of my sight. Went downward spiral, depression, anxiety, suicidal ideations. Just didn't want to live. Didn't know what I was going to do. I got medically retired, but during the process of getting out, the Army has soldier recovery units. And the purpose of these is to either get you back in the fight or get you prepared for retirement. So medical is the primary, but also physical health. You're still a soldier. So I got plugged in through Mark Catapan was my mentor in Colorado Springs at Fort Carson. And they introduced me to adaptive sports, this program called the Warrior Games, and eventually the Invictus Games. And for me, I was in such a deep mental rut that I was at the point that whatever I could do to get out of that hole, I was down for it. And I heard about it and I was like, I've been an athlete my whole life. I love sports. And the fact that that was an anchor to pull me out of that dark hole was phenomenal. I know most para athletes you meet, they have similar stories. I know Greg and I share the same views, but I literally wouldn't be here without adaptive sports. I would have went a way different path. I mean, I turned towards alcohol, turned towards a bunch of stuff. So got introduced to it. I was a runner beforehand, so they had track, field, swimming, cycling, rowing. They didn't let blind guys play team sports. They don't want me getting smashed in the face with a basketball. So, but being that they let me do that, it was phenomenal. So, started training, jumped on the bike, jumped on. I did everything they let me. That's how I dove into skiing and snowboarding and different stuff. So, started training for it. I did ice climbing the last couple weeks. but yeah, just, I mean, it's been it's a blessing in disguise. I mean, obviously I took something extremely negative and I could have went a completely different route, but thanks to people around me, the programs that were there, I've been able to dig myself out of a hole and now hopefully get on the path to the Paralympics. But even just being alive and being able to share my testimony and just trying to share it and help people has been honestly one of my favorite things to do. And anybody I meet, if they do have a disability or impairment, like a lot of people look at it in a negative aspect, and now I'm like, oh, you're impaired or disabled? Let me help you out. No matter where I go, there's programs all over, especially military, but even aside from military, there's so many different programs that I can just try and get people off their butts out of the couch, back into life and back into fight. So obviously from a military aspect, I lean on that background, but no matter what you're going through in life, everybody goes through speed bumps. And for me, I used sports to get over that speed bump. And it's been an amazing asset. I've been blessed to travel all over the world. My guide dog Maverick gets to go with me everywhere, and now my family, hopefully future my fiance, she's my caretaker slash backbone, so she travels everywhere as well with me. So it's been a fun journey. I'm very blessed, but it was all through the power of sport. And really, my first sport was cycling. I jumped on a tandem bike. Kind of, I guess, short fun story. I was a runner and I used to make fun of cyclists. What one? They're wearing funny suits. Why would you use that when you have legs? Like, what are you doing on a bike? And then now I race kind of para-professionally, I guess you could call it, on a tandem bike, and I'm wearing the funny suits, traveling all over. And now I get to meet amazing people. And I think from the biggest blessing that I received in the military, I was an NCO, which is a non-commissioned officer, a leader. People came to me for things, and then upon injury, I was devastated. I had to ask, how do I get to the restroom? Like I was just mentally stuck. And then now sports has helped me get over that pride to where no matter what I do, it's okay for me to ask for help. But then it was that first experience on a tandem bike that it's like, I have to trust the person that's in front of me. Every little movement. I mean, you experienced it in the last few days. It was just, I mean, obviously you've got a lot of experience on a bicycle, but being on a tandem, you have to be in sync. You have to be able to let me know the calls. We have to, even just on a takeoff, hey, clip in, clip out, left, right. So one, I have to not only do the things, but I have to trust you. So me giving up the pride and trusting that the person in front of me is going to do what needs to be done was just huge for me. So now that's where, like, sports, any guide I have, as long as I know the guide is confident, I'm like, I've been snowboarding, I've been flying down Pikes Peak on a bike. I've done a bunch of different stuff, and it was all because I mean, I trusted the person to jump on a bike and take me to the journey, and that's where we're at today. So very blessed and thankful.
We're already planning the Pikes Peak on the 4th of July, April.
I was just thinking that. Oh my gosh.
Great, Quarles. Can you do the same thing? Just a quick, just maybe just a little bit more background about, kind of your journey.
I got in my military career, I did 21 and a half years, and throughout my career, I'd gotten injured a few times, but fought through them, adapted, overcame. Nothing that was life-threatening. But then on my final deployment, my 8th deployment that ended my career, I got shot in the head and blown up within a 2-week time frame. Broke my neck when I got shot. The helmet saved my life. And then 2 weeks later, it got blown up. But I had that no quit attitude. So I tried to just fight through them. And I did that for a while until the injuries got to where I couldn't handle it anymore. And I got sent to the same unit. I had to have spine surgery. And then when I came out of that, I got put in a SRU, Surgery Recovery Unit. At the time, they were called WTBs, Warrior Transition Battalions. Oh. And then they later reflagged and became SRUs, what they're known as today. And I thought my life was over. I didn't have a purpose anymore because I was a senior enlisted NCO. I wasn't training troops. I wasn't in charge of anybody. I couldn't do my job. I couldn't jump out of planes or do any of that. And just like Mike said, I turned to alcohol, thought my life was over, thought I was going to be one of the statistics the 22 a day. And I had an occupational therapist that said, you can get on a bike. And I'm like, I can't get on a bike. I have spinal cord injuries. I have vertigo. I don't have balance. And so they first put me on a recumbent bike, a 3-wheel bike that's low to the ground. Put me on, started training with it, a couple of miles here, 5 miles, 10 miles, 15 miles. And then they threw me in and was like, hey, you're doing really good on this. We're going to sign you up for the Gulf Coast Challenge. I said, I'm down for anything. I said, this is really helping me. Not knowing that the Gulf Coast Challenge was a 5-day from downtown Atlanta to New Orleans bike ride. And on that ride, I thought a bike was the worst thing ever. I didn't have the funny gear. I didn't have anything. I'm wearing cotton sweatpants, and we had every weather that you could think of, from below freezing to rain to high 30-mile-an-hour winds to 110-degree temperatures throughout this ride. But there was veterans that were on that triple amputees and quad amputees that were riding bikes. And when I saw them, that literally changed my outlook on life. I'm like, I have nothing to complain about. If they can do it and they're doing it with smiles, I can too. And that was in 2014. And it literally changed my life and got me to where I'm at today. Never thought. I went on from that to making Team Army and competing in all the sports, to making Team USA and competing at the Invictus, the games that Prince Harry puts on, to being a national, getting classified in rowing and track and field events, and now getting classified in cycling. And just like you guys, getting asked to be a coach. And I'm the head rowing coach for Team Army and assistant cycling coach for Team Army. And as of yesterday, I'm a classified paracyclist and did my first ever paracycling race today.
And crushed it. Incredible, like a heart rate of like 136 or something like that.
What?
I mean, just,
my heart rate averaged 123,
okay.
Maxed 132.
Correction, it was lower than that.
I didn't know how, I didn't want to go out too hard. I didn't know how to pace it, because this was the first time racing a TT bike. I'd only been on one a couple of times before. It was a brand new bike, but I'd never raced a TT on a TT bike. And so I didn't really know how hard to push. And at the end of it, I'm like, I could have went a lot harder. So it was a learning experience, a very good learning experience. But going in with the classifications, when I sent in all the paperwork, originally they're like, oh, on paper, you're going to be a C3, which all those are based off injuries and range of motion and leg strength, because I have all the different injuries. I show up, they're like, you're in way better shape than we thought you would be with all these injuries. So they classified me as a C4, and then I race. And I guess because I raced too fast, I got classified as a C5.
Where the standards are higher.
Yeah.
Which is harder to qualify. So
I made the standard for C4, even though I didn't push myself as good as, and so I was a half a mile an hour off the C5 qualification standard, which the first week in March, I'm racing time trial again in Florida, and I will make it then.
Yeah.
Now that I know
you will.
Now that I know what I can actually push and what to expect. So
before we go any further, I just want to thank you both for I want to thank Zed for introducing us. If it wasn't for Zed, who Coach April and Coach Lauren knows somewhat, I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for the time that we've had together here with both of you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service and sacrifice. I can't even imagine. I'm getting, it makes you choked up to know how much you guys have given and how far you've come. I know Coach April can, as a senior NCO in the Air Force, can appreciate. So I'm going to turn it over to her here in a second. I think you guys have covered some of the background that I wanted to get to and a little bit of your story. let's just kind of unpack things a little bit. Coach Lauren, or April, can I turn it over to you?
Absolutely. I've just been sitting here in awe, just reflecting back on the journey that both of you have had and talk about rock bottom, right? And what could have happened if you use those coping mechanisms, which are they're there, right? Those hard things, those just destructive things that can take us out of feeling the pain of loss, right? And I just want to say that I'm really proud of you both for rising above that and really leaning into what you do have, your skills, your talents, and the community around you now that you're inspiring, including myself. So just want to say thank you both as well. I listening here, there's a lot of things that you all brought up that I'm like, I wonder what that means, and how do they do this?
A lot of acronyms.
Yeah, so I would love to hear when you talk about these classifications. And Greg, thank you for explaining a little bit more about that. But in practical terms, can you share what that means for how you ride and race?
So basically, based on your disability, there's a classification for each variation. So mine's pretty cut and dry. It's men's blind or women's blind. So any sort of visual impairment as far as cycling goes. So each sport has a different style as well. So with cycling, it's automatic. You're on a tandem bike. So no matter if you're lights out, completely blind or not, you race tandem bikes, male and female. And then when you go to kind of like his classifications, you have, they're called C categories. C1 being the lowest, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So essentially, the lower the number, the more disabled you are. And then the higher the number, basically in forms of movement and function of your body, the less impaired you are. So C5s would be a more able-bodied person than a C1 in comparative terms. They're still obviously disabled. And then you have the H categories, which are hand cycles. So anybody that has lower extremity issues, that can't ride an upright bike, spinal cord, they race on laying down hand cycles. And then there's also T categories, which they race on upright tricycles. So if those are for, like, I believe he's raced on quite a bit of different crews, so he can give you more details, but that's kind of the general gist of all the different variations there are. So in a normal para race, so like when we have our national championships here coming up in April, para, you would race against your category. So I would race against other blind athletes. He would race against against other C5 categories, or if his classification changes, but it's against categories, and that's normally who you go against. This race, Team U or USA Cycling kind of threw us in here as a category just to give us more races. There wasn't a whole bunch here in the nation. So now it's a cool field because we're a small category, just in general, not just blind, but the adaptive sports categories. So to get all the cyclists together, we all race in the same pool. So we're all going for the same potential prize money. But then upon this race, so they did the results today. They still haven't quite finished them. What they're doing is taking our time trial times and then comparing them to our national standard. So whatever your national standard is and whatever we performed at, they're going to basically do like a percentage of that, and then they'll re-rank our rankings. So we have the time trial today, tomorrow's the road race, and then the crit. So we kind of have, yes, we're one big general category, but to make it fair, like an upright tandem is two people racing flying down compared to a hand cycle. And not to say that they're not fast, because I think we got beat by a hand cycle today too. Dude was a monster. Did. So, but just in fairness, according to the categories, that's where they kind of have those separate. You have more to tag onto that?
Yeah. So the caveat off that, so there's a total of a little over 30 para athletes that are here. And how he was saying earlier, C1s or H2s or tandems would race against each other. Here, they put us all together. All 30 of us are racing together based off of our national standards. But as it sits right now, Mike and Rich are in 4th place out of 30. I came in 6th place out of 30 after the time trial. Now, they said it's going to change a little bit once they take, because the trikes, which is a 3-wheel upright bike, they have a little bit slower time. So for me, in the national standard, I have to do 25.4 mile an hour average for the 10 mile. And I think you guys are 28,
27 and a half. I think
27 and a half. And like the trikes that I was talking about, they're at 21, and the hand cycles are even a little bit slower. But one of the hand cycles beat y'all
outright,
and beat me too outright in time. So hand cycles can be super fast, but their time standards by regulation based off the Paralympics and the World Championships and stuff that they've raced all last year, based off a cumulative of everybody's times, can either go up.
So, sorry to interrupt. It goes based off of the UCI World Championships. The third place person in that category, that's where we hold our time standards from.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So when it comes out, we have 3 time standards. So for us as veterans or anybody coming in, there is what's called the emerging athlete, or the national that they're calling it now, time standard. And it's at 115% of based off whatever
of the third place
the third place finisher. Then they have the international time standard, which used to be 110%. It is now 105%. And then you have the international podium, which is 100%. So based off what that third place person actually got in each individual category. So that's how it all comes down to when it looks up. It's we have to do a lot of math because it's all based off the UCI rule books, and everything is in kilometers. So they give us a kilometer, a time standard per kilometer, and then we have to convert it into miles per hour and our time. So
that's a special skill just in that alone.
Yes.
That's incredible, guys. I really appreciate you shedding light on that. It helps me understand how this all racks and stacks and the special skills that it takes. I would love to know, kind of peeling this back to when you started, what were the biggest barriers for you to get started in these specialties? Was it the equipment, cost, knowledge, confidence, something else?
For me, it was a little bit of all that. So confidence based off of my injuries, I couldn't ride an upright bike anymore as I thought, because I thought everything had changed and I couldn't do anything anymore. And so I was put on a recumbent bike, which I rode for almost 10 years.
Oh, wow.
International Cycling, UCI, doesn't recognize recumbent bikes. They want you to ride the 3-wheel upright, which is a regular upright bike, but has 2 big wheels, 700C wheels in the back. And they want to put somebody with spinal cord injuries, TBI, vertigo on something that is very tipsy, doesn't take corners, any of that. That's one of the things that we're still trying to fight now, to try to caveat that, because there's a lot of people that could be cycling and could make it into USA Cycling and UCI, but they can't ride that type of bike. I was in that same point. And if it wasn't for nonprofits out there, I wouldn't be able to cycle now. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't have the nice equipment that I have. I've been afforded amazing support and things to go. Because I wanted to make it to the next level, after doctors tell me I can't ride an upright bike, what did I do? Because I don't take no for an answer. I got on an upright bike, and here I am today. So,
oh man, that's so incredible.
But it's those hurdles, and there's a lot of people that are out there and that's one of the reasons I'm still cycling. One, because I know where I started and the struggles that I went through, and if I can change anybody's life, if they're sitting at home feeling sorry for themselves because of an injury, illness, thinking their life's over, they don't have a purpose, don't have a mission anymore, that everything is adaptive. It don't matter if you're blind, you're in a wheelchair, there's hand cycles there's tandems, all that. I've rode recumbents. I pilot tandems now and ride upright. I did gravel races last year. I did the race across America last year.
Wow.
3,065 miles on a 6-person disabled vet team. A year ago, I would have never thought that I would have done that. Somebody asked me, they're like, "We like your background. We like your no quit attitude." And because I wanted to prove not only to myself, but to show others, that's why I do it. And that's why I continue to do what I'm now. I like to use the I don't know the word for it, but you can take a brand new car straight off the lot. You park it in the field, don't crank it, don't do any maintenance on it. It's not going to crank. The tires are going to dry rot, and it's just going to rust. You can take an old rusty truck out of a field, put some new parts in it, keep doing the maintenance, and it'll drive forever. I'm that old rusty truck. Got a bunch of new parts, do the maintenance, and just keep driving it. So
we call you Mater. I like
Yep.
it. Great. That was amazing.
So first he was infantry, so that word's analogy. No, I'm just kidding. All joking aside, I mean, similar when it comes to, I guess, adaptive sports in general. The biggest hurdles you're facing is obviously that first initial mental barrier. You lose something that you had, whether it's sight, whether it's a limb, or invisible injuries are kind of the worst. Because I mean, I'll walk around places and people don't know I'm blind, and it's one of those ones. It's not like I'm missing an arm; you can see it, or I can't see people looking at me weird. So I think that's a lot of it is internal mental baggage that you're like, what's the world thinking about me? And then it took me, the real barrier that helped me get over it was adaptive sports that kind of set it up, but then meeting other blind athletes or disabled athletes. Because I tell people when I'm in this realm, when I get around like primarily other disabled veterans, but anybody with disabilities, I don't feel blind. I can get around here. Even if I first met you for the first time, like Greg and I met technically cycling. We met virtually, and then we met on Bear 2 Challenge, but then we were teammates on Team US. And it was just like we knew each other forever. So you automatically share that bond because no matter how you got injured or whatever, you have the military background, you have the disabled background, and I don't feel judged. So I think that hurdle for me was one of the bigger ones, getting over the pride of, are they gonna look at me differently? Am I able to do this? Like I hold myself to a pretty high standard, and then if I don't hit it, I tear myself apart. So that part, and then kind of like you hit on it, I mean, the equipment. If you think regular bikes are expensive, tandems are double. So thankfully, between the VA and nonprofits, I've been very blessed with the equipment that I do have. But then the lack of knowledge. So not knowing that the resources are out there when you first get injured, you don't know. Like I've met tons of veterans to this day. I work at a bike shop now back home, and I get people that come in and they've been retired, they got blown up in the initial surge in Iraq, or even older vets from different generations. And I'm like, get with the VA, get with this program. So I think my goal now in life is, I mean, obviously short term, I'd love to make LA. But long term, I want to make a difference and be able to be that source of, I hope I've got a working list of all these different programs for anybody going through anything. Hey, what do you need help with? What do you want to get into? I'm going to pay it forward because I mean, I've been afforded this opportunity. If I can pass that along, and you don't learn about it until you sit down and talk with other people. Because yes, you go through a retirement plan. Every military branch has them, or no matter where you're at, but you've got so much other crap going on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going through that process, it's a PowerPoint. You don't care. You're just like, all right, I'm just get me out of here. And then once you sit down and talk to somebody that's been through it, like nothing against people that there's a lot of counselors, there's mentors, and there's some great people, but I really didn't listen to anybody until one of my buddies, he's a close friend / mentor now, Lonnie Bedwell. He kind of told me like, yeah, it sucks you're blind, but what are you going to do now? And I'm like, I can't complain. He's completely blind. This dude kayaked the Grand Canyon, just climbed Everest. Like he's doing all kinds of amazing stuff. And I'm over here complaining because, I mean, I lost a decent amount of sight, but I didn't want to use a cane because I was embarrassed. I didn't want to do certain things. And now, I mean, I walk around with my guide dog everywhere and preach that I'm blind. So realistically, a lot of it's about perspective. And then I guess next hurdle would be, I guess it's personally in my case, is finding a pilot. I can't ride bikes without a partner. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges is finding out the information, getting, okay, how do I get there? What's next? And then you have to do your own self research. Even coming to races, you got to make sure you're prepared. But then having somebody to race with, that's a whole nother ball game. Like even like how Coach and I got set up was pretty awesome. I was just talking to him. I said, "Hey, do you know anybody in the pipeline that's interested in piloting? My pilot just got hurt. I've been blessed the last few years. I got hooked up with a pretty solid pilot that I met at the Olympic Training Center, and we've been on a solid pathway. And then especially since I hooked up with Coach, I finally have the structure. He's been going great. And then boom, he got injured, and I was like, oh crap! I still have nationals. I still have a couple of things going on." And Coach was like, "Well, I've always wanted to pilot. I just got my cert. I've got the numbers you're looking for. How about me?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do this." So God works in mysterious ways, and I'm a big
100%.
believer in nothing's to chance. Everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason, and that's why we're here right now. And
Mm.
it's just, I mean, life's amazing. You can sit down on the couch, you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can get off like Mater here and just keep chugging forward. So
Mater. Yes.
Oh my God.
Love you guys.
I seriously, I can guarantee on my life that there's people that are going to listen to this and feel like inspired, feel seen, realize that there's things that we take for granted every day that we're able to do, whether it's with our training, with our relationships, with life. And one, like, I know Rich already said this before, but like, thank you both. I am so honored to be in this space with you guys and hearing your story and how you show up. And it's really easy for people to go down the road of like, this sucks, why me, I don't have a place. And I'll say this a million times over, that like, I wholeheartily believe that triathlon or endurance sports can change somebody's life and change the trajectory of their life. And I'm just so hopeful that somebody's listening to this episode who needs to hear it and needs to hear both of your stories on how you've been able to find a place where you're like, hell yeah, I can still compete, I can still challenge myself, I can grow, and I can like see how strong I am now. And I always think it's like meeting yourself where you're at right now, not where you were 3 years ago, 5 years ago, not where you wanted to be right now. And it's just super inspiring. So I just wanted to say that first before my next question. And for anyone who's listening and for us, I'm just curious, like, if you can take us through a little bit of what your training looks like now and how that might be different than what we might think like quote unquote traditional training might look like for a cyclist or runner or a triathlete.
I just recently, I had like coaches and people I knew that I worked with, coaches, and they would give me workouts and things I'd find offline, but I never had like a traditional, just modern day coach. And so I would just get on a bike before and just ride, just seat time, all that. And at the end of last year, I decided like, hey, this is what I really want to do. And I got a real coach and doing workout. And at first I'm like, what's this zone two? Like, why am I doing these slow rides? But it has really worked out. So, I mean, I went from doing 12 to 15 hour a week workouts, and he brought them down some, but my endurance and my speed and everything has jumped double. I mean, from what it was just on having these like structured workouts. And it's been a game changer. And when you're just training on your own, yeah, you'll train, but one day you're like, it's late or something comes up, and so then you don't train, and then that leads into another day you don't train. But when you have a structured coach and you're working for something, it don't matter if it's 12 o'clock at night, I'm still doing that workout for that day, because just like in the military, you have a structure and you have a regiment and you have like the NCO Corps, the backbone of the military, somebody that's holding you accountable. And now that I have that, and I'm part of a bigger team, guys that I'm working with and training with, And I had that as a coach. I'm giving that stuff to people, but then I wasn't holding myself accountable. But I'm holding myself accountable now because I've got somebody that's holding me accountable. So it's a big change and has really helped my growth, both physically on the bike, but mentally too.
I guess to lead more on the question, same concept. I got injured in 2018, kind of found sports towards 2020. I knew cycling was my main haven, but I was kind of all over the place. I was doing CrossFit, I was snowboarding, I was doing a bunch of staying active. I don't have a stop button. So I was just, let me work out every day and this is going to be good for the bike. And I had tried to coach for a little bit. It just didn't work out with my first coach that I hired. So once that happened, I was kind of like in a negative aspects for coaching. And then went through the last few years, things have been going great, but I still wasn't consistent. Same concept to where I was getting workouts in, like I was smoking myself, but it wasn't structured cycling workouts. And then I had talked to Zed. We got through the VeloFlow project. Zed, he's a fellow Army buddy of ours that we met through Adaptive Sports. And I said, hey, I'm looking at coaching. Project Echelon actually had reached out and they had a coach available. It just communication wasn't there. And then he gave me Coach Rich's number and I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a coach. So he hit me up right away. Yeah, let's talk on Sunday. Called, talked, and it was, just the stars aligned and everything worked out. And it was one of those things to where, in my eyes, it's pride. Ultimately, I was just, yeah, I'm good. I don't need it. But then same concept. I thought Zone 2 drives were stupid. What the heck am I going to ride for 2 hours of Zone 2? That's a waste of time. And now I'm doing it, I guess, kind of to hit more. I don't know if you were aiming towards like how do adaptive workouts look different than regular. So for me, I have the worst rides in the world because I'm stuck on my trainer all the time. Unless I have somebody to ride with outdoors, I'm the majority of my training is indoors. So from one aspect, it's terrible because trainers are not the most fun. But from a training perspective and structure, you get the best workouts, hands down.
Training workouts, yes, they do suck, and that's why I'm glad that there's Zwift or Training Peaks or Rovi or any of those. So you're actually out doing something. You're watching a screen, but you're able to do something. But I have gotten so much stronger indoor training because when it says you're going to hold 300 watts, you're going to hold 300 watts for that entire amount of time. And like you stop, it's going to turn the erg mode off and you're not getting that workout's not going to go. Out on the road, you might hit 300 watts and back off. And then you got downhills and all that. You don't have that when you're on the trainer. So I've gotten love-hate for it, and I've tried to tell other people that are like, trainer sucks. I'm like, you want to get stronger, get on the trainer. Hey, it's raining, you don't want to go outside. It's cold, get on the trainer. Yeah. You still need your outside workouts for bike handling and all that. But it showed me today, since December, I'd been outside 3 times. And when we got on the bike yesterday and today outside, it was a game changer. Like I had noticed my heart rate was extremely low. My watts, I was able to hold 250 watts for 24 mile an hour, like super easy. Like this has showed me that the workouts and the training has really paid off. And now I'm even more stoked to see where it's going to go from here and see what I can actually achieve. 14 years ago, 2012 is when I got shot and blown up, and I saw athletes. I was an athlete in high school and like very physical throughout my military career, and all that came to the door was slammed in my face after I was shot and blown up, and I would have never saw myself where I am today, and now I realize that anything's possible, anything's achievable with the right training. I have the mindset and the heart, and I have good people like yourselves. I've picked up so many things just over the last few days from the conversations that we've had, Rich, that it has helped me. I've realized that you can always learn something new, to be that sponge and take in all these things, and because you never know when you're going to be able to use it or give it to somebody else that's needing it. So it's amazing.
It is amazing. And I know that one of the things that Mike has to do is he can't read the workout, right? I mean, unless it's a really big font.
Yeah.
You need audible cues, right?
Yeah. So because when we first talked, he was like, just use your Garmin. And I was like, I can't just use my Garmin. I have a huge one. I got the 1050, but it's still, so if I smash it against my face, I can read it. But realistically, during a ride, that's not how I work out. So thankfully, technology is a blessing and a curse. So Trainer Road, any workout he uploads to TriDot, it syncs over to my Trainer Road, and I can plug it in directly through erg mode, and then it's got a beeping system. So it's audible. It'll beep high tone for the high intervals, low tone for the lower intervals. And for me, that was a game changer. I tried Zwift. I tried all the other ones, and they're great. But if you can't see them, you're pretty much screwed. Because if you don't know a hill's coming up and you're not pedaling hard enough, you're not in the right gear, it comes to a complete stop. It's like cement. I don't care how strong you are. So with Trainer Road and with the adaptations, like that's where I'm just super thankful, because I was pulling workouts directly from other places before, but me and him will talk every Sunday and we go over each workout. Okay. And like sometimes like the old me would have felt dumb to ask questions, but I'm like, what do I need to do during this portion? So I mentally prepare. All right, I know I have this workout coming up. I can't read it beforehand, but my phone has a screen reader, so I'll have it blasted to me. And hey, what do I expect? And then that way I know this high beep, this is my 1 minute warm up intervals. It's the same 10-minute warm up. And then I go into my threshold, or if it's just zone 2, I can do homework while I'm doing zone 2. So it's cool because it's such a little thing that a lot of people don't think about, but being able to just have that confidence of, can you explain the workout to me, has been phenomenal. And it changed my complete perspective on not only on coaching, but cycling and the workout structure. Like, we've been together about a month, and I just personally have seen so much progression in myself, not just from my numbers, from my physical health. I know that I need to apply more. I was doing a lot more strength workouts, and then now I kind of been doing a lot of the TriDot ones. So I need to consistency is key, and no matter what you do. And that's where the coaching has been huge, and then the adaptations. But it's been, everybody adapts differently. You can ride outside, you can ride indoors, hand cycle. But kind of like hitting on your term, like, what do you do? And how do you train like this? I snowboard blind, and a lot of people see me and they're like, how do you do that? And I always joke around. I stand in a snowboard position. I'm like this. And then people are like, oh, I'm like, everybody's capable of doing things, but you got to just crack the joke a little bit sometimes, and then bring them, be like, no, this is how it works. I've got a headset, I've got a guide. But no matter what your limitation is, there's a way to train, and it's just whether or not you have the will to get up and do it. So very, very blessed with what we have going on right now.
These two gentlemen and I all have a race tomorrow. So we are going to transition here, I think. Thank you, Coach April, Coach Lauren. Those were great questions. We got to some really awesome stuff. Thank you, gents. One of the things that is a theme here for me is first honor. Just that you guys are showing honor by showing other injured soldiers a way forward, a way out, a way, helping them. You are going to, like we've said a number of times here, you're going to reach somebody here.
Yeah. And it ain't just soldiers. It's
true. Yeah.
Anybody. It don't matter whether you are a soldier and injured, any kind of traumatic injury, born, acquired, combat related, non-combat related. It's anything. And this is adaptive to every single person. So
yeah.
And that's what I want to be able to give back and help change somebody's life and inspire or motivate. I know Mike too. So.
You're going to save lives. This is like life-saving work. It really is. Just glad to be here with you both. I want to thank you both for letting us do this chat, and letting me be here with you. We're going to crush it tomorrow, right?
Yes,
we are, right?
Thank you for being here. I wouldn't race without it. So
Guys, I'm going to close this out with a quick ad read about Vespa, which, by the way, we all did Vespa this morning.
What?
First time
That's awesome.
ever. And
Loved
I was
it.
like, okay, supplements, different things. I took it a little later, but it did hit me at the turnaround, and it was great. So
yeah, how about that?
That's
why would I
ad
even
right
do
there.
that? Just like what
So
a waste of time. But let's do it. All right, folks. Our Get Gritty sponsor is Vespa Power. Vespa Power Endurance helps you tap into clean, steady energy so you can stay strong, focused, and in the zone longer. Vespa is not fuel, but a metabolic catalyst that shifts your body to use more fat and less sugar as your fuel source. Save yourself a few gels. Pick up some Vespa. Comes in a number of formulas. We use the CV25 because we're some bigger guys here, but it comes in the junior for smaller athletes and concentrate if you want to put it in your bottle. Less sugar, high performance, faster recovery. The home of Vespa products is going to let you take home some Vespa with the code 303 Endurance 20 will get you 20% off of your first order. After that, for any recurring orders, use the code G2G Vespa 15, and that will give you 15% off of every order going forward. Folks, we're really glad that you were here with us. Thank you for spending time on the Grit to Greatness Endurance podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow us on Instagram at G2G Endurance and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. We're also on YouTube, so watch us if you don't listen to us. It helps us reach more athletes like you. Stay gritty, train smart, and keep chasing greatness. We will see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.